My presentation was over online shopping and how to target millennials with digital marketing. Millennials are becoming the biggest customer segment for retailers. Millennials, or Generation Y, has now surpassed the baby boomers as the largest generation in America. Millennials were the first generation to grow up using technology, so therefore they were the first digitally native generation. Because of the large growth in technology and the use of the internet, brands are beginning to turn to digital advertisements in order to target the generation with the biggest spending power currently. Specifically, brands are turning to social media platforms to advertise their products on websites that millennials actively use, such as Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. So for the purposes of this study, my hypothesis 1 is the most effective way for retailers to expose millennials to their brands and products is through paid advertisements on Instagram and Snapchat. Online shopping has grown significantly more popular over the last 2 decades. The internet has become a very convenient and fast method of shopping as an always-on medium, allowing consumers to buy whatever they want from anywhere in the world at any time of the day or night. The key to winning consumers' hearts and minds to a business's website is by offering a unique shopping experience. So which brings upon my second hypothesis. The most effective way for retailers to drive online sales and create brand loyalty with their consumers is by offering a unique shopping experience that exhibits both utilitarian and hedonic components. For this research, I chose to do a meta-analysis over multiple articles covering digital advertising, social media, and online retailing. Although I focused on scholastic articles, I did also use sources from Forbes magazines over social media advertisements, since there was not very many scholastic articles that were up to date with the current times of Snapchat and Instagram, unlike Forbes. For my research, I chose to only focus on articles over technology and digital media that were published in or after the year 2000, in order to only include relevant information and provide insight on how the different methods of advertising have changed in recent years through technology. For hypothesis 1, I found that more and more retailers were delegating more advertising funds to Snapchat advertisements, specifically because there was a significant increase in millennials using Snapchat compared to Facebook due to the increase of older family members accessing Facebook and millennial users turning to Snapchat rather than Facebook. I also found that due to the low cost of advertising on Instagram, more retailers utilize its advertising functions and therefore are exposed to millennials more commonly as well. For platforms like Instagram, retailers can pay for one individual advertisement to get boosts, so each post has a boost, and therefore it's a little bit cheaper for businesses to use this advertising function rather than Snapchat or Facebook. For hypothesis 2, I found that consumers, millennials specifically, were more likely to develop brand loyalty relationships with brands that utilized e-commerce sites that exhibited both utilitarian and hedonic components. Since millennials were the first generation raised in a time when a majority of goods were branded and are more comfortable with brands than the preceding generations before them, it is imperative that brands build lasting relationships with them by establishing a positive online shopping experience. By creating an enjoyable shopping experience with them, they in turn invite repeat sales to their sites, thereby establishing brand loyalty. The biggest limitations that I found within my study was the lack of concrete results of the effectiveness of retailers' social media advertisements on Snapchat and Instagram, and whether the companies found an increase in sales due directly to these advertisements. In order to evaluate their own success, many retailers use sites such as Google Analytics in order to evaluate the success of their social media advertisements and the online traffic it brings, as well as the number of clicks each ad receives. But we as researchers and consumers do not have access to these reports, therefore we do not know if they actually had sales driven from their ads on social media or not. We can evaluate that as consumers, there has been a significant increase in the number of Snapchat and Instagram advertisements we are exposed to daily, but without a direct evaluation of the costs of these advertisements and their direct relation to sales derived from these advertisements, there is no concrete evidence of monetary success. I did find that both of my hypotheses were correct. Millennials are more likely to be exposed to retailers' products through social media advertising on platforms such as Snapchat and Instagram, since millennials are more likely to access these platforms daily. And millennials were more likely to develop brand loyalty relationships with brands that utilized e-commerce sites that exhibited both utilitarian and hedonic components, therefore inviting millennial and other consumers to come back and use their sites again and again, thereby establishing brand loyalty. And that's it. I wish everyone has a Merry Christmas, and it's been a great semester with you guys. Thanks, y'all.